Hi, I'm Mark Toole with 8020service.com. Today's customer service video question of the day is an interesting one. What are the top reasons customers abandon self-service support? The guy didn't put quotes on it, but I'm going to do that because self-service support, as far as I can tell, other than sounding like something Sylvester the Cat would say on Looney Tunes, is a thing that doesn't really mean anything. So if we're going to answer this, we'll come up with a rough definition of what we're talking about here so this makes sense. I'm going to define it as whatever thing a person does between the time they have a problem with your product or service and anything they try to do to solve that themselves before going to customer service and saying, hey, I need you to fix this. So that's what we'll define it as for this answer, for this video. There are reasons. Well, thinking first from my own experience as a customer, I don't want to deal with people's customer service departments if I can help it. Most big companies especially do this so poorly. They do such a terrible job at it. They make it so unpleasant. They often make me pick up a phone and dial a number, and then it beeps in my ear, and then I have to press 47 for English and yell, representative, at a machine while it says, will you please enter your social security number? No, I don't need that. I just try to... In any case, we've all been there. I won't go down that whole thing again on this video. I've done it before. I don't want to do that if I can help it. If something's not working, my first thought is, how can I get this working? If I don't know the answer to something, my first thought is, how can I find this answer? So, I'll look. If you have some kind of a help section or an FAQ section, or if there's an account page where I can make changes to things, I will try to do those things first before going to deal with somebody's customer service department. After that, I will go on Google and I will search for how to whatever I'm trying to do with whatever company and see if anyone else has had this issue and if they've been able to fix it. And the vast majority of time, unfortunately, I find some either nothing or a forum post or something like that where somebody says, yeah, there's no way to do this. You have to call customer service. It's terrible. They ask you a bunch of dumb questions and try to sell you landline phone service, but eventually they'll get it fixed. Enjoy wasting 3 hours of your day. That's usually the answer that I get. It's funny because I'm reading these answers here and there's other people here who seem to have the exact opposite opinion from me on this. They seem to think, oh, if something's broken, I don't want to think. I don't want to try to figure this out. I want to call customer service and have a nice chat with a happy little person and have them fix all the things for me. And depending on the issue, depending on the product, depending on the service, depending who your customers are, who you're selling to, this might be valid some of the time. But again, depending on the product, depending on the service, depending on the type of customers you want in your business, these might be the exact customers you don't want around. The people who will never try to figure anything out. They'll never read anything. They'll never think about anything. They'll never try to do something. They'll just call and say, oh, it's not working, fix it. Now, if you're selling to that type of market, you may have to deal with this. If you're selling to higher end, more self-sufficient markets, again, not necessarily higher end in terms of price, because at a certain price point, people are going to want to talk to somebody more, but I don't know. My point with this, I guess, is it depends who your customers are. It depends how you set things up. It depends the expectations that you set when you do things. But yes, it also depends on the quality, the usefulness, this is an important one, the frictionlessness of your self-service option, self-service support, whatever you want to call that. If you make this thing a huge pain in the ass to do, if you have some FAQ page hidden way away on your website somewhere with 600 questions on there and it's all this random stuff that has nothing to do with anything, and there's no search box, and the guy just kind of has to scroll through all this nonsense, forget about that. If you really have frequently asked questions, we'll touch on this specifically for a second here. If you really have frequently asked questions, there shouldn't be that many of them, because when you're doing everything else right, you see the questions that people are asking the most frequently, and you do something to make that information more clear, whether that's a self-service support or something else, just making the information more clear, redesigning the website, any other thing, adding it to your marketing copy, whatever it needs to be. You make this information more clear so that people don't ask the same question frequently. Now, you can't always do that, so you can have one of these sections. These are actually great sort of persuasive or marketing tools, if you think about it that way too. Frequently asked questions I'm telling you what people frequently ask. I can put whatever I want in there, so you think, oh, people are asking. I mean, some people, I've literally seen frequently asked questions. The first one, I hate this service, how do I cancel? No. I mean, do you want people to think that most of when they come to the frequently asked questions, they're not asking about that? The most frequently asked thing you get is, your shit sucks and I want my money back? I don't think so. You can put things in there like, hey, this service is great. How do can I renew early? Can I sign up for another year? Can I upgrade to a higher subscription tier? And then, yes, you give the people the information about canceling or whatever, but you don't put it front and center. But same thing, you make the thing short. You make the thing readable. You make the thing persuasive. You make the thing useful. The problem that a lot of people have in business is they think that customer service is something apart from the rest of business. That the regular rules of persuasion and marketing and influence and copywriting for things that are written no longer apply, and they can just have Patty, the middle manager with the big gut and the vape and the bag of potato chips, glasses and a husband she doesn't like, doesn't know how to write anything, never sold anything in her life, spent years answering phones until she worked her way up to middle manager of customer service. Just have her write the email. It'll be fine. It's not important. It is important, and it should be written by someone with persuasive ability. This is one of the things that I do for clients, and it's helped them out greatly. That's not what I'm here to talk about, though. Point is, people abandon self-service support because it doesn't work for them, because it's not easiest, because it's not the easiest way to solve their problem. Frictionlessness there. That's what we're talking about again. There are people who are just dumb. People who don't want to try, people who don't want to make an effort, people who can't figure out anything. And if those are your customers, you'll just maybe need to do it for them. Again, depending on your market, you may or may not have too many of those. But for everyone else, the self-service support should be simple. It should be intuitive. It should be considered to be a continuation of your marketing, of your sales process. It should have influence and persuasion techniques in it. It should be written properly in a persuasive way, in a somewhat copywriting way. Now, this isn't going to say, not to say that it's the same as a long-form sales letter or something like that. It isn't. You're not necessarily persuading them to buy anything here. Maybe you're persuading them to do a certain thing, like if you're talking about renewals or updating their bank information or whatever, that you want them to do that. But really, what you want them to do is to read the damn FAQ or whatever you have, to go through there and to figure out the solution to the issue. Not to simply say, this is too hard, screw this, I'm calling customer service or emailing or live chat or whatever, because as you could probably guess, I'm not a big fan of phone support. But that's my answer here, really. I mean, some guy just said, like, hey, here's a definition I found online, and I don't know anything about statistics about this. Great. But I also don't know anything about statistics on this. I also didn't look up a definition online of self-service support. But this is what my experience in the industry tells me. This is why, the only reason, in my opinion, why people don't want to have to self-service support them, to figure things out themselves. Or really, if you do this right, they're not even thinking that they had a problem and they figured it out themselves. It doesn't have to become a problem. You have a question, like if you have a subscription to something and you're like, I want to make some changes to my account. And you go on the website and you click on my account, and then it's like update profile. Oh, I was hoping to update my profile. That's the thing that I'll click. They don't think that they are using a self-service support. They're just thinking, I want to do a thing, I did the thing, done. They don't think of it as support, and that's the way it should be. Now, sometimes maybe if it gets to an FAQ or something like that, they might think of it as support. They might not. That doesn't really matter. Point is, they abandon it, as you called it, as using your terms, because it is not the easiest way, in their opinion, to get the thing done. Now, that's why in some people's opinion, the easiest way is simply to pick up a phone and call somebody. With the pain in the ass that phone call centers have become, that's no longer the easiest way, in my opinion. Now, it may be an easy way to send an email or a live chat and say, hey guys, need some help with my account, can you fix this? And that's fine if you want to do that. That's not a problem for businesses. Customer service people can easily handle requests like that. But for the most part, if people don't even realize that they are supporting themselves, that they just have a question and then they figure out the answer to the question, that's the best way to do it. And if they're not doing that, it's because that's not done in a way that makes it easy for them. It becomes easier for them to simply ask somebody to do it for them, and that's why they do. Simple answer. There's obviously a lot more nuance to this. The differences, of course, depend on your individual business, your individual situation. I can't talk about that here, obviously, but that's the answer. I'm going to wrap this video up here. I've talked about this long enough. And now for the usual stuff. I do one of these videos every weekday on a customer service question. I write regularly on business and customer service topics, both on Quora in response to questions and on my website, which is 8020service.com. No dashes or hyphens or anything like that. Which I'll write regularly on there. Daily emails going out there as well with the daily email list. I help businesses get the stuff right. I have a guide that I put together about this for people who want to figure it out themselves. And then, of course, you like this video, like, thumbs up, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. And otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow with another video.